Ryan Pineda noticed a shift in the market that allowed him to build a business that is producing over $21 million per year. And that shift was moving away from a paid ads focus towards organic content to fuel his funnels. But we all know building an audience is only half the battle. The real question is, how has he built funnels that take that audience and spit out $50,000 to $100,000 every single day? That's what we're going to dive into today. So if we go to his YouTube channel, which I believe was his primary focus, we can start to see what he's doing. But I think what's interesting here is the length that he's been doing this for, right? He's been doing this for years now, even before organic content was cool, right? When people like Alex Hormozi and Sam Ovens were kind of really pushing towards paid ads, Ryan was one of the few that was capitalizing on organic content, which has made him one of the biggest in his niche. So if we look at his strategy on YouTube, it seems like, the past week we have 4 videos, right? We have a podcast, another podcast. This one seems like an educational video, and then we have another podcast, right? So it seems like he's doing 3 podcasts. Actually, this one's his story, but last week, 3 podcasts and 1 educational video. So that's kind of the general structure that he's following. Now, if we look at where he's sending people to on this video, we start to see where his focus is, and that's the 2 funnels we're going to dive into today, Wealthy University and Lead Kitchen. But if we go back to his channel, one thing I find interesting is he's sending the channel traffic, right, that main channel link to ryanpineda.com, which is kind of his general website with the headline, "Do you want to work with Ryan Pineda? Apply below for coaching, speaking engagements, podcast features, and special mastermind." So kind of just a hub, but not a lot of different ways to go from here. You can just click apply. It says enter your information. And there's a lot of questions like email again, which they already got that. They probably don't need that again. Do you want Ryan as a guest on your podcast? Do you want to speak at WealthCon? And there's all these different prices attached to it, right? His speaking fee is $50,000. There's potentially a cost to be, on stage at WealthCon. Do you want to sponsor WealthCon? That's $15,000. Do you want one-on-one coaching from Ryan? That's $50,000. Do you want to spend a day golfing with Ryan? That's $10,000. What's interesting here, if they wanted to increase conversions, or if they wanted to increase throughput on this form, there's probably a few things they could do here. One, multi-step forms, right? Typically, rather than showing a whole block all at once, multi-step forms are going to work better. Secondly, there's a lot of questions, right? So if their one goal was to get enough information to be able to reach out, right, and then kind of allow the sales team to filter and to place them in the right direction, they'd want to strip this down. There was a study recently that I read where they tested 11 form fields versus 4, right? So 11 form fields versus 4, and they saw a 160% improvement in conversion rate, right, by just removing those forms. So it makes sense, right? Removing friction is one of the biggest things we can do to help conversion rate. And this is a lot of friction. There's a lot of extra questions. So by making it multi-step, right, that's going to increase incentives, going to make it easier because you don't see this whole block. And then by removing questions, again, it makes it easier. You get to the end, there's less drop off. If you're trying to optimize for quality, which they very well might be, then you might want more forms, because then you only kind of get the highest quality people. You weed out the tire kickers of people who are interested, right? Which is, again, probably why they're giving these prices up front. So you can submit that, and then I'm sure there's just a thank you page after that. Not his primary focus, but it's interesting how that's the number 1 link on his channel, right? When I land on his channel, that's what I see. And I see this quite often. Right here, there's also wealthyway.com that we can go to on his channel banner, which also takes you to that Ryan Pineda website as well. So very interesting. But if we go back to his 30,000 foot overview, the 2 places we saw from the YouTube video that he's sending people to is Wealthy University and Lead Kitchen. Wealthy University is his school community, right? A lot of people are bullish on these now, of course, with school games, Alex Hormozi. A lot of people are doing these, and now Ryan Pineda is one of them. And we can look at how he's selling this, because I think it's quite interesting. I think there's a few things he could do better. So when we land on this page, the headline is, "This is the most insane offer I've ever made." So this is the most prime real estate, right? Like this copy is typically going to have one of the largest impacts on conversion rate. And this is decent, right? I mean, it's obviously what matters most is you test it and you see which yields a higher conversion rate. But this, it creates a little bit of curiosity, but it's not speaking to the promise, right? It's not giving me a sense of necessarily what this is all about. It's not really customer focused, right? Like there's nothing necessarily in it for me besides like, okay, what does he mean? Then we see no experience, no license, and no capital needed to start making money in real estate. This is much better, right? this is basically how to get this big promise you want, start making money in real estate without these things either you don't want or you don't have, right? And then some sort of VSL right here that's 27 minutes, which is probably just, going through the offer, which is really interesting. And we're going to get to that in a second. And then he has this form right here, which goes straight to checkout. Now, I've seen people do this above the fold. I would be curious though, if you restructure this, better headline, subheadline, bigger video, and then this button right beneath it, but no form, and anchored down to a form. I'd be curious what that does to conversion rates. You never know till you test it, but I would be curious about that. But we'll come back to that form in a little bit. Let's look at the offer. So it says try 7 days of Wealthy University, which is his school community, for only $3, okay? And I'll give you 4 bonuses for free. Then it says what's included in Wealthy University. Again, goes over all these things. Total value of $23,000. Stacking the value, but it's only $3. And then in 7 days, you auto renew at $97 a month, and you can cancel anytime. And we'll actually buy this in a second so that you can see what the other pages look like, because he's doing some interesting things on those other pages. So once again, stacks the offer, goes through all these different courses, gives you these different bonuses. This is all education based. This makes sense, right? This is good stuff for the offer. But where it gets really interesting is down here, okay? Most school communities are community plus education, right? Plus information. Here, he talks about how they have this software, right? Wealthy Deals, where with just a few clicks, you can pull, a lead list, right? And get cranking on the golden lead source that is Wealthy Leads. So he's giving you leads. So he gives you education, now he gives you leads, okay? That's interesting. It's a huge value add, right? And this is all bundled into one price of $97 a month. But this is where I think it gets even more interesting, right? Because you're going to need somewhere to store your leads. That's where Wealthy CRM comes in. It's our proprietary CRM that we've built just for our students. Now, this is a white labeled version of Go High Level, right? Which is what he's using to build this page. And it's either $300 or $500 a month. He can white label Go High Level, right? Put his brand name on it, Wealthy CRM, and give it to as many people as he wants for that one small price. Now, the reason I think this is the most interesting part of this offer is, one, it's different than most other school communities, but also this is probably the most sticky, right? Because arguably I could come in, I could consume all the content, and then there's not much more value and I can leave, right? Whereas this, if you are getting leads, that's pretty sticky. And then if this is your system that you're using to store them, to follow up with them, right? To track your deal pipeline, all that stuff, maybe even create landing pages, which you can do and Go High Level, create automations. Once you've built that stuff, you don't want to leave it, right? So he's bundling all this together for really not a bad price, because Go High Level by itself, if you were to buy your own membership, would be $97, right? So he's stacking all these things together. It's just a really good offer, right? He has his brand that's fueling it. He's making it more sticky by doing this. And all of this has almost no cost of fulfillment for each individual user, right? So just a really, really good offer there. Another CTA. And then he hits a little bit on the pain points, right? Which is very important. If you watched our 7 beliefs video on the 7 beliefs needed in order to make someone buy on your funnels, one of those is pain, which he's pushing on here, right? You're working hard at your 9-to-5 job, juggling bills, wishing you had more time, but you've pretty much given up the idea that you could find a side hustle that's both flexible and profitable, right? Hitting on their pains. And then he kind of positions wholesaling as a way to do that, and then uses some of his credibility to give you some trust, which is another big belief in the 7 beliefs video. Stacks the offer once again, and then goes over a few testimonials, just 2. That's something I definitely think they could do better on this page, is add more testimonials. But that brings us back to the beginning of the video, right? About how he's relying on organic traffic. And the reason I bring that up is if he was purely paid ads, this funnel probably, it could, it's hard to say, but it would be hard to make this a profitable funnel with pure paid ads. Whereas when he already has this trust built up, he doesn't need as many testimonials, right? Because people already trust him. However, if he added more, it would probably make it convert better. Now let's go back up to this form, because I think this is pretty interesting. So it asks for full name, email, and phone number. Then the call to action is yes, get my 4 free bonus gifts and test drive Wealthy University for 7 days. And then it says, we respect your privacy and information. That line right there is to reduce anxiety, right? That's one of the variables that we covered in our video on the conversion heuristic from Mech Labs. Now, this is a bug I've seen in high level on Microsoft Clarity recordings, where it seems like people have this error. I don't know a way around this, where if you enter your name wrong at first, it seems like a lot of people get an error message that says like you need to enter your full name, which it just did there for me. That's a bug that Ryan doesn't have any, say over if it gets fixed or not, because this is built in high level. But it is something high level should be working on fixing, because I've seen that quite often while watching Clarity recordings for clients. So we get here, membership plus gifts, $3. Then there's an order bump, right, for scale and automate workshop recordings plus my top 5 blender list. That's $97. It says it's 99% off, right? Special offer. So they're trying to get that AOV, the average order value, up, and they are running some paid ads for this on Facebook ads. So in order for them to make a profit on day one, they want to get that up as high as possible. And then this is the form from High Level, which I'll check out really quick on. These are decent. I think they're pretty good. I think they could be better. The load time seems to be decently slow sometimes, which if somebody clicks off, you could lose the conversion. So I do think High Level should work on potentially improving load time, because right now we're sitting here and it's waiting. We're waiting. Still waiting. And then finally, 15 seconds later, it redirects us. Now, this page is probably one of my favorite parts of this entire funnel. It says, wait, your order isn't complete. Now, if you have a funnel that's selling something on page, right? Like something like this, where you can go, you can check out, and you can buy. These pages, these one-time offers, these one-click upsells are going to be the easiest money you'll ever make if you're getting purchases. Now, one thing I am noticing here is load time. This logo took a while to load. This image still hasn't loaded, which I've been here before. Oh, there it is. Actually, it might be a video, but yep, a video. So that's taking a long time. You can do different things within the code, right? Within your image optimization to make this page load faster. Slow load time hurts conversions. It's just a fact. There's been tons and tons of studies to prove that. Headline, get an exclusive free ticket to come spend a day with me at my office and tour our real estate investments. Now, this is a pretty good offer, right? Free ticket to come spend a day with him, right? Plus, get 2 months free of Wealth University when you upgrade to an annual membership. So you just joined for a 7-day trial. You paid $3, right? Now they're like, hey, for $9.97 a year, you can actually go to Vegas and get a day with him. That's a great offer. It seems like a pretty good price for that. Now, you can click this little no thanks, right? This is, because it's like beneath this, it's just hard to see, which is obviously the point. He might be getting a 10% conversion rate on this. It might be higher, it might be less. But still, this is dramatically increasing his average order value, I'm sure, because you're taking again that person that spent $3. Now you are giving him this great offer and sending him. And then also, annual memberships tend to auto-renew at a higher frequency because they're not seeing it every month. So they forget about it. Next year, they get billed again, and now you have them for 2 years, right? Business. And there's a little bit more copy from Ryan of what the offer looks like, what the day looks like. Again, just stacking the offer. But say I come all the way down here and say no thanks, it takes me to another page, which is super interesting. And it says, oh, actually, this is a downsell that they are testing, because I did this last week and this was not here. So now it says I'll take an extra $400 off Day with Ryan and Wealth University annual membership. So if you're going through this funnel, don't say yes to the first one, say yes to the second one if you want this year. And it says, this is a little bit of an inconsistency, right? Because we saw it was $997, right? Now this is $797, so that's $200 off. However, this says $400 off. So that would be $597, but it's $797. So it's a little bit of an incongruency there. But yeah, I don't know what's going on there. So same page, it seems like, but just a downsell for a little bit better of an offer, which is interesting, right? And these are prime pages. Now let's see if the next page is similar to what it was last week. Yep, so this is the same page. It says you can check your email to log in, but it wants you to book a free one-on-one call today. Now, why are they doing this? Well, this is pretty interesting. And I think the reason why they're doing this is because they want to ascend you once again. So whether it's to the Day with Ryan or other high ticket programs, they want you to ascend to their higher ticket programs. So that's the Wealthy University funnel. A pretty good offer, pretty interesting funnel. Now, I want to dive into really quick this other funnel called Lead Kitchen. And this is a very interesting offer that I think he started somewhat recently. So This is an agency service. Now, I want to go through really quick the things I think he could do to improve this funnel. The copy is decent. We cook up motivated seller leads on autopilot through social media. Inbound leads for real estate investors who want to scale. Decent. There's not a ton. I mean, want to scale is a promise, right? This image right here goes to the pop-up, enter your information and watch the case study. There's just not a ton here of great copy. I would love to see, more of a guarantee, maybe like we'll hand you 20 plus motivated seller leads every month, or you don't pay. Something like that could work better. And then there's this box, full name, email, phone number. Tired of sweet talking ice cold sellers and battling every wholesaler in town for leads. That's great copy, right? Pushing on the pain, right, of what these people are experiencing. And then a bunch of information, why trust him, about Ryan. I think an interesting test would be remove everything below this image, right, on this page and see what it does to conversion rate. It probably will increase it because it seems like on these pages where you're just trying to get somebody to opt in, if you give them more things to do, they tend to do that, which takes them longer, which means less of them opt in. But let's go ahead and opt in. This offer is very interesting to me, and I want to show you what it is. So this is an agency-based service, and actually, okay, so that, again, slow load time. The video's not loading quite right off the bat, but watch the case study, learn how we can get you high-quality, motivated seller leads on autopilot. The offer is for $3,000 a month. So once again, continuity, like the school community, for $3,000 a month. They will give you leads. They'll run the ads for you, and you just pay for the ads. So it's $5,000 for the ads, $3,000 for their service, right? And they run these ads for you, which is an interesting offer. I'm curious how much he is able to scale this with team and all of that. But I mean, I don't know. This might be doing a few $100,000 a month, might be doing more. Pretty interesting offer. And then same kind of notes here on this form. I think this could be better if it was a multi-step form instead of just a whole block here. But they go over the process. Interesting, kind of VSL structure here. But this funnel is really interesting. And, you got in the sales call, you already know the price. So you're decently qualified, right? They're trying to disqualify people. And a really interesting offer. It seems like he's making these offers that are continuous. They're recurring every single month. That's going to drive up his LTV off the audience he's already built. So if we fill out this form, I want to see where it actually takes me. You put your budget, right? So they can, potentially DQ you. Asks me how many deals per month am I currently doing, when I want to get started, and then I can click submit my info. And it takes me to book a call and start getting higher quality motivated seller leads on autopilot. Once again, kind of a slow load time on these high level forms. I like high level. I know I've been kind of ragging on their load time this video, but I do like high level. I use them personally. I don't use their calendar setting, but I do use them. So yeah, you just book a time slot. A couple more questions. I bet if you could find a way with the code to auto fill these forms, right? First name, last name, phone number, email, because they just gave you that would help conversion as well. And it says schedule a meeting, takes you to a thank you page. You get on the call and you get pitched. So that's the lead kitchen funnel. And these are the two main funnels from Ryan Pineda. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, YouTube thinks you'll enjoy this one as well. And I'll see you there.